To recognize the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Carter, for his 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank all of you for being here. I know it's been a long hearing, and we appreciate your diligence in staying here. Dr. Kuehl, I want to ask you, I'm very proud that you are here today, very proud of what we're doing and what you're doing specifically in the state of Georgia in the sense of your 3+ program that shortened medical school from 4 years to 3 years. I know, as you know, I'm a pharmacist, and I have a Bachelor of Pharmacy degree, and it was a 3-year degree after our prerequisites were met, and we were always concerned that we only got a bachelor's degree, even though it took us 3 years as opposed to other people 2 years. So what they added on a year and gave us a Doctor of Pharmacy degree that took 4 years. But you're doing just the opposite, and this is good. I just want to ask you about it and to elaborate upon it. To limit, how do you condense it? Did you condense anything? Exactly how does it work?
No, that's a great question. One of the things most traditional four-year medical schools do is that fourth year is aimed at providing students with electives and opportunities to interview for residency programs in the disciplines that are not considered primary care. That's really, they're so competitive to get into dermatology, ophthalmology, neurology, those sorts of things. We have compressed the program, the core curriculum into 3 years by eliminating the summers that the students would typically have off and focusing on the core curriculum at that point in time. For those students that need that fourth year for the electives, they can certainly do that. But for those students who really are aimed at trying to serve in rural and underserved Georgia, they get to go right into their fourth year and start their residency in the primary care at that point in time. So we're not shortchanging the education of these students a bit. We're just accelerating the opportunity for them to get out and get to practice.
In medical school, before you become licensed, you still have to pass the boards. So it's not as if you're not as qualified as someone else. I mean, you still got to. I know we had to pass the pharmacy boards as well. And even if you had a degree, we had some people who had a degree that didn't have a license because they couldn't pass the boards.
Absolutely, and these students, we haven't been in the program long enough to really have any hard data to show you that these students in the 3-year program are every bit as successful in passing boards as those in the 4-year program. And we certainly we're going to keep a close eye on that. There have been other programs in the country that have exercised accelerated programs, and they have shown that the opportunities to pass boards are not diminished at all.
As you and I know also well, we struggle in the rural parts of our state, in rural parts of our country, and in South Georgia in particular, with attracting physicians to our communities. And this is a way that understand the financing for it. It's a way that we can get some of the students to locate to some of these rural areas that are underserved.
Absolutely. It eliminates the debt before they ever accumulate it. And that gives them opportunities to really focus on staying in the state and practicing in those rural and underserved areas without being strapped with upwards of $130,000 in debt.
Right, and it's such an important part of a rural community because, you know, when people look to go to a community, and businesses especially, you know, they want to know about the education, they want to know about health care, and that gives these communities the opportunity to address those issues there.
Absolutely. One of the things we've rightly so focused on today is the need for health care in those rural areas and the need to put physicians there so that they can provide that health care. But the other important aspect about this is there is a huge economic development contribution that this program and other programs like it are going to have as well for the reasons that you just mentioned. Business and industry, when they choose to locate in an area, regardless of whether it's rural or not, they want to know how well is the education system, the K-12 system, and how it readily accesses health care to their employees. And so providing physicians incentives to practice in these rural and underserved areas is not only going to help the health disparities that we see, but it's also going to help the economic prosperity.
What disciplines does it cover? Because as you know, we're really struggling with primary care physicians, we're really struggling with psychiatry and a number of different disciplines to try to get to the rural areas.
Right, and we're focused on what the greatest needs are in our state. Not only the more classical primary care disciplines, family medicine, internal medicine, pediatrics, but we're also offering this to emergency medicine, psychiatry, OB-GYN, and general surgery as well, because it's not just the need for a physician. Some of these counties have very specific needs for specialties and this is going to help address that as well.
Just very quickly, what about financing? How are you handling this as far as scholarships or whatever go?
Right, we were fortunate to get a $5.2 million gift from Peachtree Health Plan, a subsidiary of Centene. That was matched by the state of Georgia to give us an endowment that will serves as the basis for these scholarships. And we hope to raise more money that can also be matched by the state to address this as well. The communities are going to have a great need to chip into this process too, because it's in their best interest.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, and I yield back.